Hello, everybody. It's Minister K.I., the Anunnaki teacher, here with Untwisting Time with the two hosts there. You got Richard Strickards and you have Christopher Peoples. And our featured special guest, once again, Shaman Perry's here joining us. And, there's a video. Mr. Peoples, can you tell us what the show's going to be about?
We're going to be having a show about frequencies, how they work, what they're for, all that.
And saying, Mr. Richard, I know you got a few things that you got going on over there. So if you want to say hey to everybody, let them know that you're going to be in the show. But he's got a few things else that's going on over there. So you want to say hey, whatever about frequencies.
Yeah. Hey, my name is Richard. Happy to be here. Yeah, I do have some things that we're going to be doing at the same time of the show, so you'll see me pop in and out intermittently. I'll still be here, so be able to give commentary and feedback. To me, frequencies is everything, and what separates us from the first, second, third, and fourth, fifth, and beyond, and all the dimensions. They also what stops us from being able to interact with certain dimensions and different frequencies, including wavelength of light, allows us to see or not to see. And that's why having our third eye is so important. It is able to see the unseen. That's my little spiel with the frequencies. They're very important, but underrated.
Yeah, so true. Because this show was based off of Christopher and Richard having a conversation in the chat. If you didn't know, if I introduced you over there, Shaman Perry, that I was like, man, that sounds like an excellent one to go on. So, we got in C Neo's mind, and I picked a little bit of Richard's mind, and hey, I was like, hey, let's do it. Let's let these people know about the frequencies and the vibrations that so important that we don't pay attention to. But I was going to ask you when you get a chance to come back because Richard, I know you had suggested a couple of different frequencies that I used, the 417 and another one that man, I got so much good sleep when I was stressed out and head hurting and everything else the other day. And I know these guys know what they're talking about, so I thank you for that.
Yeah. And yeah, anytime. If people in the audience are feeling down or they're stressed out, it's very easy. You can go to YouTube and type in, "Hey, I need to relax. I got stress," or if you just need a overall frequency to like calm yourself, you're going to find multiple different frequencies that will work. Another good thing to do, like if you really want to like get the most out of listening to stuff, is listen to what I call bilateral beats. So it's going to have two frequencies overlaid over each other, and what that does is it flexes your left and your right hemisphere and causes them to communicate. Doing that while listening to specific frequencies will help you process. I've done it when I had to deal with some trauma and stuff. So I recommend is bilateral beats. It's very amazing.
Awesome.
That is very cool.
I know you got a lot to do around there, but hey, we look to hear from you still back. That Shaman Perry said he's going to be reading your comments if until you come back in and out. I know that you got things going on over there, man. But without further ado, our special featured guest has been on before. You got Shaman Perry there. You want to introduce yourself? Maybe even play those drums. He's got some drums over there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That he was playing earlier. And like I said, those drum beats and everything used to be a language to some of the different cultures, from Africa to all over the world. So without further ado, Shaman Perry.
What's up, everybody? Super excited to be back. And today we're going to do something pretty cool. Find your heartbeat. You can take 2 fingers, put it on your carotid artery right here, and just feel that pulse. And then start tapping it out. Doesn't matter if you have a drum. If you do, cool. If you don't, that's okay. Just tap that rhythm out. And the more that you do that, your brain will sync to it. That is your personal rhythm. 4 beats per second normally. So that's what we're going to do today. Just allow that vibration to wash through you, within you, and around you. And pay attention to where you feel that resonance in your body. Whatever is there needs your attention. How do you guys feel after that?
This kind of feels rejuvenated and opened up to any questions you may have.
Wonderful. How about you, Mr. Anunnaki teacher?
Sounds pretty good, man. Like I said, those vibes always hit me. Like I said, just like the other day when we got to playing some of the sounds just straight off of the StreamYard here, man. It just, music is always affects me. I was telling Chris the other day that, I have no different genre I like. I like the music without the vocals sometimes, because sometimes the different drum beats and the different bass and tones and everything always put me in a better mood though. But that right there that she was playing those type of beats when coming from those drums, for some reason, they get me back into, thinking about things in the past. It's something about those drums that bring up that ancient, in me. It brings it up and out. I see Sherry's out there with PWI Spiritual Investigators. She
Sherry?
said,
Mhm.
hey guys, in comments there.
Very cool. And I'm so glad you
Yes.
brought that up, dude, because that actually is the doorway to reach our ancestors, to reach our own DNA.
Hmm.
When we go through the heart is the center of the tree, guys. We can
Yes,
journey
it is.
down or journey up, wherever we want to go.
Yeah. It just seems like it just brings me to a connection for some reason when I hear those type of drums, even when they play the hand drums. Drums are the best. As Sherry says, yeah, they are. It just seems like it hits me, and I'm like, wow. It just feels like those ancient ancestors about to walk through the walls or something.
Oh, yeah.
I love
They
it.
walk through the
And
walls all the time.
Rich is still here with us, guys. He says heart is the vortex, and another name for vortex is portal. Absolutely, dude.
Yes.
The doorway, or as the shamans would say, or the portal. And that's really cool too, guys, how frequencies work like that. When we look and take a frequency and take like a picture of it, it looks and has a shape, usually a toroidal field. That's what
Yes.
basics life of anything is. And in that
Right.
field, we can imprint different sacred geometry shapes to create different effects and different frequencies. That's the whole point of us being alchemists and able to manipulate the energies that are around us. And when I say manipulate, I don't mean in a negative way, like we're manipulating a person. We are simply manipulating the energies to bring us the opportunities that we wish to experience.
Yes.
And that way we don't create any karma. It's when we try to manipulate people that things get really messy, guys.
Like Chris always says, Chris always talking about those darn humans, man. Hey, we're
Mhm.
darn for people. We're only partially human. I've accepted I'm not all the way human anymore.
Good.
You brought, huh?
So, Chris, what is something new, dude, that we could learn about frequencies? Let's get that conversation going. That'd be cool.
Frequencies are encodements of states of being. Like, how am I feeling right now? I am feeling curious coming through this conduit. I am feeling intrigued about the discussion. This is the experience of happy emotion. What frequencies cause happy emotion? Major chords, C major to put you to sleep, G major to bring you awake.
So then, is there a specific frequency that would help us maintain a theta state?
Theta states, multiplicatives of 8. 4 to 8 hertz. Theta, 8 to 12. Alpha.
8 and 4. Guys,
Yes.
that's super interesting. If anybody didn't know, you can download a free audio program called Audacity, and you can make these yourself. If anyone wanted to test them,
Audacity to have audacity. It's pretty
right?
cool.
Audacity for the audacity to will dare.
Yeah, that's cool. Audacity like that.
And I personally, guys, use I got 60 different frequencies that I love to play with. One of the ones that I use a lot in my meditation and teachings is 432, which is emotional balance.
Yes.
So a lot of people have not really experienced or know how to hold the framework of being emotionally balanced. By listening to this frequency, it gave me the framework of what it felt like in my body to be that balanced. And that helped me tremendously balance the lower energy centers, which are all separate frequencies.
True. I think Sherry had sent me that one too at one time because she had sent, when the 417, the 432, and then the 600 and
39
whatever. So if some of the folks probably don't know what we're talking about, there's different frequencies like
hertz.
on YouTube and everything
Yeah.
that you can go to, frequency healing and stuff. Because at one time I did a show with Sherry Brett, the Into the Light We Disclose, where they was doing different frequencies and even frequencies that they made for certain reasons. And I got attuned with Metatron, so Christopher, with one of those frequencies because that was something that I was studying and everything. And I told him that. So, man, and what you just said with those drums, that something happens to me, and they even Cassidy said that something. When I described to him what happened, it was like a mask, one of those African masks, came through the mirror, and it just hit me like this is actually real. And I just lowered my head and started crying. It was unreal. So, what I was going to say is, Christopher, if you can explain real quick that that those different frequencies like that you guys advise people to use, are they harmful or can some of them be harmful to people? I mean, both of you answer. I just see Neo. I usually try to pick his brain there.
Frequencies are not harmful. The intentions that humans put into them, the thought forms and the egregores, those are what you should look out for. Always clear a room, clear the intentions of what other people have done with this specific frequency before you use the frequencies yourself.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. Those specific frequencies that Christopher was just talking about will create a sacred space or clear any space. It'll make it neutral if you wanted to. And we got more from Richard over here too, which is really cool. So frequencies in music affect the body and even down to our DNA, which, yeah, I have specific frequencies that are for cellular DNA repair, which is, I love that stuff. And here's a
Is there,
question for the audience. Is
okay.
432 hertz more natural or beneficial to the human body than 440?
Mm.
I've never used 440 myself personally, so I can't attest to that. But I would just see it as one's not really better than the other. It just depends on whatever specific purpose you're working with or towards.
Mm-hmm.
And why was the music scale changed? That is a freaking interesting yes. Why was the music scale changed from 440 to 432?
It was actually changed from 432 to 440 in 1939, a couple months or so before World War I began. That is a correlation, but not a causational situation. They might be linked somewhat within the timeline, but they're not. One did not cause the other. So that's the misconception that caused a conspiracy theory. And that's why people think that 440 is evil. But the truth is that frequency is frequency. What you do with it is what is more important.
Why not me?
PWI, to answer your question, yes, I will. Just all you got to do, it's really easy to find. A quick Google search, just type in Audacity, first link, you can download it right there. There is another file you need, MNP3, to make it so you can download and export MP3 files. But the directions are right there as soon as you download it.
You can also convert YouTube videos that you have music into audio files, and that'll be useful for many.
Yes, you can do that on that audio or on that thing too. It's very useful. And you're right, dude. I totally agree with everything you just said, Christopher. And I was having a conversation with this student of mine earlier today. Is when I first came to shamanism, one of the first things they told me to study nature. And one of the first things that I observed in that study was its creative and destructive force. And it needed both of those in order to sustain life.
Shiva.
And frequencies are just like that too. Like
Shiva versus Kali.
Yeah.
Yes.
The emotional frequency, if that's overused, if I were to become dependent on that, or someone I gave it to became dependent on that, then that would be detrimental. But when we use tools how they're supposed to be used, they can be beneficial. Just like swinging a hammer. If you use it incorrectly, you're probably going to get hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
Some
little.
just some popped in my head right where you guys was talking about that. How I think it was the Battle of Jericho. How when they marched around the castle 7 times, beating the drums and making the music to make and that seventh time because it was the frequencies and the vibrations that caused it to collapse and come down. And when a lot of people talk about the building of the pyramids and stuff like that, and being able to levitate different stones and stuff like that. Do you guys think that frequencies and stuff like that played a part in it, or could it play a part in it if we learned to master those type of things?
Yes, and that was Atlantean knowledge that the Egyptians were using. They had more knowledge than we do in that area. It
Yeah.
wasn't aliens, it was humans using alien knowledge is alien to us, but it was human knowledge to them.
Right.
And guys, there's a great book on that. It's called Harmonic Alchemy. I can't think of the author's name right off the top of my head, but in this book, he breaks down how frequency and vibration work with all of the 7 sacred laws: cause and effect, the law of polarity, the law of vibration, the law of,
Gender.
and it really helps us understand how these vibrations affect different types of matter. And that's all we're doing. If
Yeah.
we can figure out the rock vibrations and play that rock becomes weightless.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then you just use thought particles and emotion particles to put it in place.
On that, Shaman Perry, I definitely want to. It sounds like something I want to read there, definitely, because I'm into. One time I was experimenting just with trying to levitate, and it didn't happen when I wanted to, but I felt like later on, it felt like I started to kind of come off the ground, off the bed where I was laying on. It was the way I had to position my hands, and I kind of scared myself. Like I said, I always do these dang experiments, man. I need to quit experimenting on myself and just try to experiment on Christopher Peoples if I could. But I think he's experimenting on me. He's messing with the vibrations in my head.
Always.
But let me ask you another question. Do you think that frequencies and vibrations have to deal, with telepathy? Is there a connection there?
Absolutely, because all a thought form is, all a thought is a specific frequency that causes our neurons in our head to fire. It's an electrical impulse.
That's good.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
When we
Those.
have similar pulses that are firing together, we have that synchronicity. That synchronicity creates synergy. And then it's just like a file being shared between 2 servers.
Yes. Like PWI Spiritual Investigations. If you don't know, that's our sister Willow there with PWI.
Much love, dear sister. And
Yes.
this is a super cool topic, guys. And I kind of jump around a little bit, but to answer Richard's question, why they changed that frequency, to keep us asleep. That's the only
True.
reason they would do it. It makes us easy to manipulate. Anything that was done in that nature is to simply for manipulation. Now that we're aware of that, guys, we can help break that by being mindful of what we're paying attention to. Then we got another question from Rich, which is exactly they had, or he's responding to us now, exactly they had a resonating generator in the ark. Everything on Earth has a frequency, and if you hit that specific rate, you can
Hello,
levitate.
Misty Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Misty.
Hey,
And
Miss.
I want to try that. I've been experimenting with different frequency plates and different copper wire measurements to see what I can produce with different materials. So far, I've been able to freeze water, which that's a pretty cool experiment, guys. If you hold
Yeah.
an over water and put it in the fridge overnight, that water
Yeah.
will message.
Certain shapes to it and everything. I seen that video doing that was really cool when they did like the little round flask of it, and they did different music and sounds and what it froze to be. And that's where I think that the video was mainly was just talking about how the consciousness of the element of water, how it holds memory, and that was
Yes.
so freaking neat. You
Mhm.
know,
The reason you
pretty
have a
awesome.
lot of water is because it holds memory that your brain, which is very failed at holding memory, can hold.
I have 4 mythics in my inventory right now.
Yes.
In there. 'Cause,
That is very interesting.
Because the brain
you know,
only holds memories temporarily. Water holds memory until you decide to change what the water is doing.
right. The video I was watching yesterday was talking about that, as a child, the programming of a child up to like 6 years old, and
7.
however the child is programmed is how they're going to be affected through the different things through life.
Oh,
And
no,
it's kind of
no.
amazing that as we get young, we get programmed, then we learn, and then they talk about as we get older, we revert back to that child, and it's like a reversal, that Benjamin Button effect, which is it's kind of just strange about the human body. As they say, we revert as we get older back to when you got Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that they're trying to work on fixing now. But now, what you guys talking about, that it just kind of popped up. Hey, we could use frequencies to heal these type of things, and with that
Yes,
memory and water,
it
because we're 70.
recalibrates the brain and recalibrates the body to the new states of being that are explored in water.
Absolutely.
Yes.
My son was born with what's called aplexia. The frontal part of his neurocortex was underdeveloped, which had made him have trouble forming the shape in order to speak. Playing that DNA frequency, repair frequency I was telling you guys about, helped him a lot. I used to play it while he slept. I just turn it on the computers and play it through the whole house in the night. It helped a lot.
Oh,
That's cool. Lucy Mountain is talking to you, Christopher. She says, interesting that you talk water, Christopher. That has been a theme in my dreams lately.
That is very cool. Huh.
Dreams are the water of the unconscious given form.
Water, and that's why they say water is the conduit between all the realms. It
That's
flows.
correct.
So when we're talking about traveling, we're traveling literally through that liquid ethers. That's why this, if you fold your thumb in and go like this really fast with your fingers spread, you will feel that connection to that fluid that you're in. Your hand will feel wet.
Right. That's pretty cool. Tony Waltz says, do you guys know how to use nature to bring out your psychic ability?
how Logan always thought on that.
Sure.
Focusing on the green, focusing on the brown, focusing on the smells.
Oh.
That'll bring you to nature.
Yeah. So opening your psychic abilities is all about learning how to differentiate and create awareness of the individual senses. When we do that, we become aware of that subtle sixth sense, and from there, we have access to all of them. We simply have to choose which one we want to cultivate, or like a muscle. A really cool experiment, Tony, with this is to help see auras, is get a plant or anything that's living and put it against a blank wall, like a solid color. And it's called soft focus, where you intentionally bring your awareness and softly relax the muscles around your eyes, and you close them as slowly as possible. You don't strain them, you just close them until you see a faint outline around the object. Once you have that experience, you'll be able to see, you'll start to see more of that. And practice it once a day for about 5 minutes. That's
Because
how I.
plants have auras too. Plants and most living things, they have auras around them also. That a lot of people
Yes,
didn't know that, thinking that only humans have auras, but some plants and living things have auras.
all biological life has auras.
And even inanimate objects have an aura field because they're
Correct.
our energy. So like this cup, it's my regular coffee. I drink out of this every day. This contains a lot of my energy from my use. So like when we're talking about magical tools and stuff, that's how we.
Psychometry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Residual energy on there. Those residuals there.
some
Willow
more.
said, taking notes of the things that stand out.
Yes.
Everything living has auras. Yes. So true. So
Everything,
true.
everything has auras.
Yes.
And then Richard says the experiment of Dr. I'm probably going to butcher his name, Manaru. But yeah, dude, that is a great documentary. If you guys haven't seen that, It is his name is Mararu, and what he did is he took water and poured all of this love into it, and then he took two and he poured hate into the other one. Then he froze them and took a microscopic picture of it.
Yes.
Oh, it perfectly demonstrates the power of intention scientifically. I mean,
Yes.
very,
He's talking about. Is he talking about the as Richard? Are you talking about the Asian guy, such and such Monterey? I can't think of what his first name is, but he's been on Ancient Aliens and everything before. Like a gray-haired Asian guy,
With
uh,
Asian names, the last name comes before the first name.
Kaku or something like that. I can't think of what that name was.
hold on, I'm looking it up.
Everything. Tony Wilk says everything I have. I have too. I've been using water. I do too. I try to drink it. I got some right here too. Like I've been using water. This is my alcohol here. I got liver cirrhosis. I don't drink anymore, guys. I need to drink more water. That was some advice that even Sherry gave me years ago when she had diagnosed me by looking at me and knew that I had problems, that happened with my appendix, that I couldn't tell. But like I said, that's what I was saying about frequencies because it's like I know they use these new different things now to disperse large crowds. I mean, there's some type of sound thing that they do that's supposed to that there was experiment over there in England or somewhere else that it disperses mobs or whatever, but it's like a high frequency sound or something that sometimes when there was experiment it causes people's ears to start bleeding and headaches and things like that. You know what I'm talking about, Christopher Peoples?
Yeah, that's ultrasonic,
Yeah, they use something that they bring a
hypersonic.
tank in, and it just puts this sound out, and everybody's like, "Oh my God!" It just reminds me of Men in Black when they put that thing up there, and bloop, and your memory's gone. I'm like, they're coming to technology with well, they probably got it,
They're not
'cause
coming into the technology. They're just
Yeah,
slowly
pretty
releasing
sure
it
that's
by
already here.
necessity.
But and even things like this, guys. This is called the tensor ring, and inside this column right here, you might even be able to feel it through the camera, is an intensified beam of positive ionization energy, positive energy.
Mhm,
If we were to put a glass of water in here, it would highly ionize it and raise it to its highest possible potential, to its highest frequency.
that's cool.
And we can even, the frequencies we play on YouTube, play it through water. That will ionize the water with that
Put it
specific.
in your metal water bottle.
That does help. Or glass, but metal's a better conductor.
Yeah, this
And
is metal, I think.
Mhm.
Metal.
showed water. Chris or Rich Scott Moore showed how human consciousness affected through water and hate. Yes, love the water. Yes, the water showed love remained clear and hate water was black. Yeah, like it looked really nasty.
Yeah,
And doctor's name was Michichu Kafe.
yeah, that's
Michio
who I'm thinking
Kaku,
about.
And
Yeah, Michichu Kaku, and he's an Asian looking guy. Yeah, really,
Japanese.
really smart. Yeah, Japanese. I love
Japanese
that guy.
American.
Watching a video on him the other day when he was talking about something with the cosmics, but that guy is really good. I know it's one because that's where I seen that water experiment
that's
that
cool.
when they was freezing the water and playing, and they was like hate, love, all this, and you telling it that love, and then was freezing it, and then the shapes and different things that it was made. Speaking of that, that kind of short little video that it has Martin Luther King's speech on it, but it shows different
Anybody I
type
would like to
of
live a long life,
it's showing
longevity
different type of
has its place. But I'm
forms
not
that
concerned
frequencies
about
can
that now.
cause. If you
I
guys
just
can
want to do
see
God's
those,
will.
if it gets a little bit bigger, but it shows these different shapes that different frequencies can make, and it was pretty cool. It just I couldn't take out the. I don't think we'd get copyrighted on Martin Luther King talking, so I hope not. They try to get us for everything here. Hey, we're putting out so much good information, but Chris keeps warning me, don't do it. Don't put that music on there, Benny. So I'll just sing it time is on our side. Yes, it is. But okay, that's enough. I can't sing. My voice is leaving anyway. But Sherry Willow says new places to visit, guys. I think the deeper connection to yourself. Yeah, dealing with the frequencies and the different sounds and everything else. I'm about to ask you guys after I get a couple more of these and see what Richard's saying there. Misty Mountain says that is so cool, Mike. I want to try that here with my plants.
It's a very
Um,
fun experiment.
Water your plants with that love water.
Yeah. And Rich just posted in here too, is that they also just suggest after the experiment that before you drink the water, you speak positively into it, set your
yeah,
intention, and then
positive,
it
Rob.
your molecules. So yeah, absolutely. It literally ionizes it and
Right.
raises the frequency.
I want some love water, man. Yeah, I'm single. I need some love water, man. Yeah, let me see if maybe
I'm
my
single too, and all the spiritual people in the chats are too old for me.
Right there with
hey,
you.
they're cougars. They might. Hey, everybody loves you. You look like you're 35 with that beard on right there. No, he doesn't. You
Ha
still
ha
look
ha.
good.
Seeing
Well,
I
you got.
think I'm
Hey,
26.
you might be surprised, man. Those older ones, they might know what they're doing.
Yeah. You get a little experience in there. Leave those little buddies that you talk to, your astral buddies alone, and come on to some humans, man. You know, hey, good for you.
Humans, yeah. Extraterrestrials, yay.
Mhm.
I think you probably have a starseed child out there somewhere, man. You know, I think y'all been
I've
spending a
made a
lot of
few of them.
time together.
Their thought
You
forms
know,
turned into their own independent things.
I got a,
I've
I
made
got a,
universes too.
I got an excellent question for you guys. All right,
Yes.
here's my candle, Willow, that I didn't get a chance to light the other day. I bought a lavender candle, and my question is, what does frequency have to do with light? What is this?
Terahertz.
Huh?
1 terahertz. The terahertz range is light. It's what we use to measure pixelation of pictures.
Lit it
Terahertz.
for
Yeah.
peace. So now, when I'm looking at this, you know, you always see the glow of the light and the different ways it goes. So, is it being carried? Okay, we're talking visual. So, when frequencies, everyone thinks that frequencies are just sound, and you just explain how it can affect water, it can affect so many different things. You know, what are some of the elements that frequencies play more? You know, that are more, how would I say it, that they affect more, or that their effect is stronger on, and what I say, like fire, water, earth. You know, I know it affects them all, but what are some of the things that we can look for more? Because, like I said, I don't understand completely how frequency and light associate, or how they're.
Light is a type of frequency because light is measurable. Any kind of frequency can be measured because the frequency is just how fast something oscillates per second.
Yeah.
And
And in that, when that frequency moves, when that frequency is moving through the ethers, it creates that light, and that light has a specific pattern to it.
yes.
Studying that pattern, we understand the frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look a lot of those old esoteric paintings and that from
Yeah.
way back in the ancient times, that's what they were doing, is they were studying the patterns of the archetypal consciousness to understand how energy moved and worked.
Yes.
So cool.
Yeah,
I just
very.
answered Misty Mountain. Misty Mountain, we need you on one of these shows soon. I know that you're coming. You're coming soon. But she says you can meditate using candles by allowing yourself to see the different colors in the flame. Yeah, and that's true, Misty, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a
Athena
sister out
agrees.
there, Renee Burkett. You know, when we used to speak, I used to talk. You know, we used to speak about light and frequencies and stuff like that. And I would tell her that, you know, when we connect, I was like that. I'm the blue in the flame. The bottom part of the flame, that's the blue, but it's also, when you look at it though, it's also all the way in there. But we pay attention looking at flame like, oh, this part is yellow, and that might be the spark is this. But the blue part of the flame, why is it blue? Why does it give off that? Is that just the epicenter? Is that
Blue is
the
actually hotter than red fire. White
mhm.
fire is hotter.
And white fire is the hottest. So in that
Okay.
flame, you're talking about the different. So like we were just talking about auras, that's the aura of the flame. And as you move closer to the center, the light is more concentrated, which makes it stronger in its frequency. And
Yeah.
then
Shorter
Richard,
wavelengths make it blue. Longer
as it moves
wavelengths make it
out,
red.
that color, the change defines how dense it can be. So then it sets a framework for it to create that specific dimension so that it can move in. And
If
then
they're
that
moving
dimension
closer to you, will
governed by
shift.
that particular element. So like the realm of flame is guided by the element of fire. And each one of those elements, when we learn to access the awareness of them, we can work with them individually or collectively. And that's why the heart center is so important, because the heart is the furnace where we take all of those primordial frequencies and blend them together. And in that blending, we can use that energy for whatever we want,
Mm-hmm.
followed by our attention. It's very cool, guys.
That is cool. That is cool. Did Richard saying something there? I've seen the number went up again.
No, not yet.
Misty says using biofeedback, you can change the color of the flame.
Yeah, that's very cool. I love playing with those machines.
What is that? What are you guys talking about there? Please explain.
Biofeedback machines gives a digital readout of our own energy. So it's also very akin to Kirlian photography or aura photography. Now we have more advanced systems that give us literally a digital printout of how our auras are and how our energy centers are. So we can literally see in real time if there's an energy center that's out of whack. And by meditating, it'll show you in real time how those centers move back into alignment. Very fascinating.
That's for those who don't have the second sight.
Yeah.
What is that? What do you mean the second sight, Chris?
Third eye vision.
Oh, okay.
See it yourself.
Right.
Example of that, my sacral gets out of whack a lot. So I see the red sun or like a mini sun, my upper abdomen, over to the left or over to the right. That channel, that all the energy that needs to flow up freely needs all of it in alignment, so the channels are clear.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that's quit if I quit smoking.
Yeah.
No, I'm about to fire up one in a minute, so don't even trip. You know, a lot of people say, you shouldn't smoke on. Hey, if we're comfortable and it gives you, we're conversating about some awesome stuff. You know, let me ask you that. Now, does smoking, now that's people say that's carbon going inside of us and the smoke inside of us. Does that change our frequencies?
Yes.
That's what it does.
It has carcinogens in it, cancer-causing agents.
It makes us more dense, so we feel heavier. If we were to quit smoking, we would feel much lighter, and that lightness we would associate with happiness.
You get a point there, because sometimes I tell people that I feel, you know, because I smoke BLK cigars, and you know, not an advertisement here, but I do feel heavy at times. It's like I'm like damn, I'm losing weight because of, you know, the operations that I've had. And I was normally about 205. That was my normal fighting weight, but I'm down to 170 to 168 now.
That's my weight.
Yeah, I know. I was a light heavyweight, but now what is that, middleweight? Or it's not a lightweight. Lightweight's 140. I'm talking about the boxing, you know, weight classes and stuff. But I feel heavy though sometimes. It's like I get up and I'm like, God, I feel like I'm 350 pounds, man. Why is my body feeling so heavy? But you just made me think it might be just the smoking, you know, or too much of these smoke. Because people say that one cigar equals 20 packs of cigarettes. And I'm like, I don't smoke it all at one time. It says Misty says it changes your brain waves when you smoke and changes the dopamine's release, hence addictive. So addictive.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So addictive.
That's what makes energy vampires, money vampires, knowledge vampires.
And even though with that smoking, with that, dude, a good practice to do is to clear your aura. So every morning for about 10 minutes, just spend time feeling all of that energy move up. So feel that heaviness move up from your stomach to your heart, to your throat, to your head, and then move it out. Now, it would still be greatly beneficial if we were all to quit, but to each their own. And then,
thank you.
Interesting too, smoking marijuana or Mary Jane. A lot of people say that gives them a spiritual experience, which it can, but it does have
The first time only.
or a side effect to that is it creates holes in our aura.
Mm-hmm.
And if we
Right.
don't have time to fill that aura, 9 by 9 all the way around, guys. Bring your awareness out 9 by 9. Oh, that's your whole aura. Fill up that space. Quit playing small. We need you. Your love, light's important. Fill that space up. And if you become aware of anything that feels soft or holy, give it your own attention and your own energy. It'll fill it. And that helps create the frequencies or create a shield around us that keeps certain lower frequencies out and help us be healthier. And Benny, dude, Rich sent me a YouTube link to
Yeah, I see that. I mean, if you can play it, I don't know how to play it here. I'm touching on it to see if it plays.
How do I play it? Do I just click it?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
You guys don't see anything, do you? Oh, I can present. Can I present? Oh, hold on. I have to download it. Well, let me play a link. Oh, but it will let me share my screen. Hey, check this out, guys. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. Now you guys had a birthday party over there, Shaman Perry. Tell her the birthday. Is it the girl or the boy?
Girl, she just turned
Happy
11.
birthday. Oh,
I will when she comes back around. Thank you so much, guys. Greatly appreciate that.
yeah,
And her
man.
frequency that she's at right now is that of the wolf. She asked for a wolf mask. And I took her to a wild predator sanctuary where there were wolves. They came out to her. Animals do that a lot.
Yeah.
And appreciate that. But what did you guys think? Did you guys see it?
No, I tried to play it too. It unless it goes into the media assets, it doesn't play unless you play it off your computer and turn your camera towards it. But I tried to see if I could save it. If it was saved down in there, then it could have went in, but I wasn't able to get it up.
I hate that problem.
Misty says I smoke too, so can't preach. Hey, light it up, Misty. Hey, we're smoking, and I need some coffee. I love coffee. Does coffee affect your frequencies and everything else too?
Everything you consume, eat, drink, believe affects your frequency.
But
Yeah.
those things that are supposed to be addictive, like coffee and all those, are even worse. Is that what you're saying, Doctor Peoples?
I'm not a doctor, can't give medical advice, but everything you consume changes your frequency. It gives you
You
the
are a
intentions of the things that you consume. If you consume meat that was coming from a chicken that was receiving a lot of hate, you'll get that hate. If you receive vegetables that came from a farmer who was extremely angry at his wife, well, you'll get that anger.
That's right.
right. It's true.
Just when we slaughter thousands of chickens at a time to mass produce all this meat for the supermarket, all of that fear creates
Right.
cortisol in this body. That cortisol makes the meat real juicy and tender. We love it because it what makes it taste so good.
Yes. And when I was in Houston, there's so many shops that are halal, and I didn't know what that was at first. I was like, is that the name of the shop? There's a bunch of halal shops down there, but that's supposed to be what, food and meat that's blessed?
Oh, I did not know that. That's cool.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have different halal meat shops and everything, and
Halal.
the halal.
Halal.
Allow, is that how you call
Ha-la-l.
it?
So it's like
Allow?
hall plus all.
Halal. Yeah, I was like, whoever this dude Halal is, man, he's all over Houston, man. I was like, he got shops everywhere. This man's like, no, because my ex girlfriend, her mother's from
Muslim.
Bangladesh and her dad was from India. Aisha Lumen, Cherry got a chance to meet her and speak with her back when in the days when I was in Houston, but She was like, "No, Benny, that's not halal. Is just not one person." So I learned something there. So my sister cooked with it one time, and it actually, it just makes you. It does give you an effect. I mean, it's about what you pay attention to. Like some of these different things, if you're not really thinking about, okay, this is something that's been blessed. If you're thinking about it, yeah, the blessings come up out of you. But if you're not thinking about it, you're like, it's just tastes a little, it might taste different. You know how some people are. But some people think frog meat tastes like chicken. But if you see the frog and it's cooked, when you're cooking a frog, I'm gonna be thinking, no, that tastes like frog, not chicken. But if you fool
Chicken
somebody
tastes a
by
bit like
not
dinosaur or dragon.
knowing,
Well,
I
I
never
want to eat a
tasted
dragon one day.
dinosaur. I
that
want
would
some
be.
dinosaur. I've eaten alligator. That's a dinosaur. I've had squid, but that ain't even, that's not even. I don't know what the heck squid. Now, while we're on that point with squids and octopus. Now these things got 8 different brains. So that's why I think
It's
with
a
things like that,
decentralized neural network. Yes.
yeah, that they probably do something
300
awesome
million.
with
They have 300
frequencies and
million neurons.
vibrations. And then in water
They're
too.
1.2 billion years old.
Wow. And
So
just
that's
think about having that brain power with 8 different brains that what you just the evolution of it being like you said 1.2 million years old. I'm sure
Billion
like
with a
it
B.
be, oh my
Yes.
God, that the evolution of that creature is just, and now they're saying that they're finding things deeper that because of the radiation that's in the oceans that they're mutating. I'm like, man, if one of them octopus come walking down the street, man, I'm leaving, man. I'm getting on a spaceship and getting the hell up out of here.
Well, what if the octopus made the spaceship and gave it to you for Christmas?
I would greatly appreciate it.
And then the octopus would say,
But
I
that's
don't know.
the
I'd have to call you. I don't know what to say back.
all of
it
those
reads
frequencies,
frequency.
all of those brains are a specific frequency, and all of them have to
Yes.
function together in order for the octopus to survive. So,
Wow,
being how it is an aquatic animal, being in liquid or water, it makes that process a lot smoother because water makes it easier for those electrical impulses to move. There's less
Yeah.
resistance for it. So that's really fascinating.
Trees are the land version of octopi.
I can totally
cool.
see that with the roots.
Yes.
Yeah,
And fungal networks too.
yeah.
Wow. Says
And
Mr. says frog legs are good. Ah, eh. Did they
The
taste like
frogs say
chicken?
no.
Misty, to you? Did they taste like chicken? Because I seen the dude chop them. That's why I was like, I can't watch if I don't
I don't
watch it
like
happen.
it.
I didn't like it either. I've tried a lot of different things because one time it was like a nature cooking thing. I've tried possum and it was greasy. I've had rabbit, I've had raccoon. I love venison. I love deer meat. And but sometimes I've had Angus bull. I've even had buffalo. Which it just seemed like it was a lot
Buffalo
thicker.
is African, bison is American.
Hmm.
They're
She
both
said
good.
very mild tasty for those frog legs. No, I'm sorry, Misty. If you cook frog legs, look, I don't. That's not like chicken and waffles. I can't hear about frog legs and waffles. It don't. I don't want them.
I think it would be frog legs and French toast.
Hey,
Now
I
that
like what
sounds
you
good.
think, Christopher. I'll try that.
Oh, we got a menu from C Neo's restaurant coming at you guys from Untwisting Time. I've got Shaman Perry here as your host, and hey, I'm your waiter. I'll be right with you. Let me go back here and see what C Neo's cooking. He's got frog legs and French toast out here, coming from Misty Mountains, straight from the pan. Lord, you guys got issues. You guys are giving me too many silly ideas here now. You guys are great.
Graham
Frog legs.
crackers and digital rain for a dessert.
What do you use for sauce on that, man? Frog legs and French toast. Do you use syrup or honey?
Melted peanut butter.
Unless you're
Oh,
allergic.
that is
Yeah,
disgusting.
unless you're allergic.
I
And
love peanut butter. I
I
put
do.
peanut butter in my oatmeal. I put peanut butter, man, everywhere, man.
The Fay 15 Collective say blessed honeysuckle juice.
Ooh,
Last honeysuckle juice. Oh yeah, those when they was talking about the fairies and what they like, man. I hang out with the fairies and and them all the time. They get so many sweets and treats. Bison is good eats too. Misty Mountain says, "Yeah,
I give
bison
the
is
yeah.
good."
I give the face so many treats that they're like, we're good. We don't need any more for a few years.
Well, save them for me then. Hey man, you know
I
me. I
gave
like.
him a city-sized donut.
When I was
Come on.
younger, I went and got a whole piece of honey and 3 gallons of milk and just dumped it out all around this park I lived by.
Yeah.
In that park, the energy there was so happy for the next 10 years. That was very
Yeah,
cool.
That's funny.
yeah. I see. And talking to Willow, she has me like dropping little breadcrumbs around the trees and stuff. Now I haven't seen a mushroom patch yet though. I'm looking for one.
Keep doing it, man. You will. And guys,
Yeah.
and Richard said that he added that video file. We should be able to just pull it up now because that was pretty
Get-
pull it.
They said, "Let the mushrooms walk to you, Benny."
They'll
Let
come.
them added a video file to be watched.
Would you be creeped out by walking mushroom people?
Yes, I would. I just seen
Thank you.
a big fun. Did you ask Richard? Did he put it in the chat so I can pull it up, or where do you put it at? Because if you guys put it in the chat, I can save it down and then I can upload it here.
Yes, honeysuckle is
Backstage.
interesting. That's what my intuition says.
Yeah, it is good.
Put it in
Where
the
is it?
backstage.
In the back.
That would be pretty cool, man. See a walking mushroom dude come up. Hey, man, what's cracking?
What about shape-shifting mushroom people that can copy any database into themselves?
What is the back?
process?
What?
That'd be a lot of data to process.
It's basically semi-organic nanites that convert digital to biological impulses that encode the data into the neural network of the fungus that becomes human shaped or whatever shape that it's interacting with.
What does it in the back page? I don't in the back page.
In the backstage.
Oh. Well, the backstage doesn't pull over to here. I don't. Let me see. I don't.
So you can't pull up the screen from the backstage like you bring us into?
From backstage. Okay, let me. Oh, you're talking about backstage. Okay, I see what you're saying now. Let me try that.
Interesting, then, man. So then, essentially, could we
Sand reacting to sound. By connecting a metal plate to a tone generator and pouring sand on top of it, the sand reacts to the frequencies. And the higher the tone, the more complex the patterns become.
Cool.
That's a perfect volume.
And if you're wondering what that is, guys, that's called cymatics, a study of sound frequencies. It's a very interesting branch of science.
Yes,
So cool,
fairies
man.
love to eat, just like hobbits.
Yes, they do.
See you, Rich. Are you coming back in? Or if you have another one of those, that was pretty cool. I wasn't able to get that first one too. If you have another one, Rich, I'm backstage with you there.
That is very cool, man.
That was cool. I want to play it again. Okay, will it allow me to play it again? Or do you have to push play? Rich? I'm back here backstage with you.
So having
This
one
is sand reacting to sound. By connecting a metal plate to a tone generator and pouring sand on top of it, the sand reacts to the frequencies. And the higher the tone, the more complex the patterns become.
Wow. So
Look
tell
what
me,
that pattern is.
that's cool.
And
That is
when we go on different types of journeys, we travel through that. So that when a lot of trippy experiences, so it looks like I'm in a kaleidoscope.
Toroid.
That's really what we're going through. That's the
I'll be
access
there in a second.
to different places, guys. Very interesting. Thanks for sharing, man.
well. Let me ask you: Is that I don't know how they did that with that freezing thing. If you could pull that one up, Rich, how you did that? That was so cool. Now we got some new technology on our shows. hey, when I'm around these super smart guys, man, I'm starting to get smarter out here. And I got Shaman Perry to guide my smartness. And I need guidance. I need guidance. I'm 56 years old, going on 21 years old. So yeah, I need help. I'm telling you, and these guys help me. And that's what they're here to do, help us understand a lot of these different things. Some people have never seen those type of stuff happen. I love that one with that Mikhail Kiko or whatever his name is, that when he does that freezing experiment, if somebody could pull that one up, that one is just blow your mind when you can see that the memory of water and then freezing water. Because to me, when I first seen the thing when we was talking about elements on one of the shows, Christopher, we was talking about how, energy, how it changes. It never dissipates, how it changes. When you think about, water being frozen
It can deplete, but it
and
will not delete.
be into water and then turn into steam and then steam going rising down, rain back down to water on the ground again. So it had changed, different forms. And that's one thing that the humans or us as humans are going to do. We have water in us, we have spirit, we have soul, and this is just one part of it. So when we change, into that next level that we go to, that memory, we're 70% water. So, it's holding memory inside of us, not even just the brain memory, which is that computer bank. It's just so fascinating to learn about these type of things, man.
And to take that a step further, dude, you're absolutely right there. The neutrino stream that we experience, so that Maya from that experiment we did a little while ago that connect us to the fluid environment, that is
Mhm.
impacted from all of the energy of the planets. That's where we get
Yeah,
our energy from. And that imprint goes into that water aspect of us. And that creates or gives us the impulse to the things that we are attracted to. So for like example, being a Sagittarius, I'm attracted to freedom. Now if I
wow.
don't balance myself and my all of my elements, I can be impulsive in that freedom. So that's where the zodiac can show us how it is that the emotional body works within us. And then we can take steps to bring that element, that frequency within us into balance, which is cool.
That's so cool. I see two more up there, Rich. I play the one that's over there, the newest looking one, or I see one in the middle. I see you, one in the middle, and then one to the right. I
And he
think
says,
he had.
come back in, man.
Okay, let's get back in here. But yeah, I see two of them right here. Let me see what this one is.
That's gonna be the one. So this is what we were talking about earlier, 440 versus 413. This is the shape that reflects around. Hello. You see the
That was
difference?
yeah, that was cool. This
That was
other one is not the same.
Yeah, the other one's the same. You don't need to play that one.
Okay, that was cool. One one more time for the home team, man. I like that. That was really cool. It's really cool how you got these things going like that, man. I really dig that. That's awesome, man. You
heck yeah.
guys don't know that this show is basically, Christopher and Richard and mine, but they are the host. I'm really a co-host in this show. That
Hmm.
it was an idea that we had put together, and we love Shaman Perry. We love, Sherry Brett and all the rest of the team. That like I said, these things are so awesome that they're presenting. Um, Thinking about bringing you up in here, Sherry, if you're if you're available, because we're going to an hour. If you want to come on in, it would be Misty Mountain says, "I love this." Misty, man, I'm telling you, I'm loving it too, man. That's just awesome the way he
Mist
just
is
showed.
great. It's
Yeah, see, I
relaxing.
like
It's wet.
the
He's
reason
got
why I got these videos and I saw them is because we can sit here and we can talk about how frequency changes everything around us, the air molecules, the water molecules. But this is a direct physical representation, and it's not. It's sand. It's sand on a black piece of metal, and they vibrate the metal by putting the speaker on the bottom, and all they're doing is transferring the hertz straight to the metal so it vibrates. So what you're seeing in real time is the sand reacting to the different frequencies as it's going through. And the other one, I believe, over in India, they have a temple that has these big spheres that has that same symbol, but it's all over. I forgot the name of it, but you can see that same shape once they start moving into higher frequencies, right? So as you start lower, you can literally and physically, well, physically, literally the same thing, physically see a representation of what dimensional frequencies would look like. And they get more complex as they go up.
mm. Misty Mountain asked Rich if she says, "I wonder if you could do this with plants and other things."
Absolutely.
Yeah, good.
There's a scientist that have done experiments as well with music frequency, and they found that plants actually have a preference when it comes to music. They actually like classical music.
Hmm.
Hmm. I heard that. They
Yeah.
rock and
They
roll.
do not like rap because the 808. They can't see it. Kind of. The 808.
I don't like rap either.
Right?
Watch
The
your
music
mouth. I'm a rapper.
doesn't sit well with them.
The 808 frequencies or whatever in the rap music is lower frequencies. So
Yeah.
it's literally changing the mind your mindset through frequency manipulation.
I had a
Well, you
20 by 80-foot garden, guys, and I would play a low frequency, 580 or 528 through it, and I used
Mm.
electro culture. I took some metal rods, cut specific frequencies, and put it in the ground. Plant life grew. Like we fed half the block with how much food we made. It was pretty cool.
we have Willow. Sherry Brett has joined us here. The Queen Willow.
I've got the
Sherry Brett.
camera off because I'm looking rough, guys, but I'm here.
Awesome. You see
But no,
these
I
guys
definitely
frequencies here,
all my
and
stuff is done. I double checked all my work on the
Hello,
programming
Misty, darling.
and made it ran it through the editor or whatever that they have on the website to make sure it clicked all the check marks.
Do that same experiment with
You hear me?
water. Let's put a speaker under a bowl of water.
You hear me?
We hear you.
The only reason I did this is because I thought you were sleeping because you took so long. Huh? What?
Who's you talking
Mute.
to?
I think it's talking.
I'm glad I have the screen blurry behind me.
Yeah, it was blurry. I seen somebody run past there, but that's all it was. It was blur. It looks like blur.
That was my wife. She's like, you would have been a dead man on your show if I would have came out here how I normally do. I was like, my bad.
Tell her your beard covered her up, so we was paying attention to the beard. So I just seen the flash. I thought you might have had Chris sent one of his astral friends over there or something. I didn't know. He sends them over here to my house all the
I
time.
send people everywhere.
Shortcut keys to kill the feed. I can just go real quick and murder it.
Let me ask you, let me ask you all something. So, okay, we know that, some of us do. I know y'all paranormal experts know that. I guess they say that ghosts and different things, or, in electric magnetic, or, different things like that. So are there a frequency that they hold, or is there something that's grasped that? I remember Eldon and you were speaking about something like that, Rich. Do ghosts and spirits live on a certain frequency, or do they contact us through certain frequency? Anybody
Both.
want to?
I think,
Yeah.
well, I agree with what he said. I think that it's a frequency, but it's also a wave light frequency because our eyes see about this much of the total light spectrum. So when you have a ghost or entity coming in, unless you have your third eye activated, which sees sight beyond sight, um, like ultraviolet or infrared. Infrared is lower wave frequencies, and ultraviolet is right starts right at where we can't see anymore. So those two kind of fill in the gaps, but you still have like this much on both ends, which would be the light frequency that they essentially can hide in. Not to mention, unless it's a memory impression, i.e., like spirits will leave an impression or a memory in a certain area if they had a traumatic experience or a traumatic death into the loop. If it's like that, then it's not really a conscious thing. It's kind of like they just burnt a CD and they just have a track on loop in that area. But if it's a spirit, we have to remember that it's not just a spirit that's unconscious. It has a consciousness and it has a will and a mind of its own. It may not be an intact mind, but it still has the ability to say, hey, you know what? I'll let you see me today, or you're just going to see this cup move and then go flying off the counter.
Yes.
Yes.
Residual. Yeah.
Residual.
Exactly.
Those
And
are called memory
where I ran
They
forms.
can also communicate with you in different ways as well. You've got like your white noise, pink noise. You've got those sort of frequencies that they can communicate with you through as well. That helps them to be able to be heard better and communicate and talk and do different things.
There's also the sound of astral wind, which is similar to those white noise, pink noise frequencies.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different ones. There's white, brown, pink,
Red,
yellow. There's loads.
black.
And each one of
This
them.
is where Eden, if he was here, or Eden, he could show us what they call a spirit box, and all it does is go through all the radio channel frequencies, and that allows the ghost to talk, or the spirit or entity to talk using the energy from that box.
A phonetic generator.
I've got a few
Yeah.
of those. I've got 2 spirit boxes in my cupboard that you use radio frequency and stuff like that for them to talk through it.
Yeah, I want to get a couple, but that's a hard sell to the wife. Like, why do you need those? I want to go to an abandoned building that may or may not be off limits to the public and do a spirit box session in a haunted insane asylum that was for maltreated African Americans. And I promise I won't bring nothing home. It's hard sell.
Yeah, it's a good sell. But those spirit boxes, guys, aren't very hard to make. You just got to find, if you can find just an old radio,
Oh yeah.
and take off the back panel on the circuit board, the bottom right, you'll see a set of little transistors. The bottom right one, you remove that, and that will create the stereo. So it'll just constantly scan the different frequencies. And then you hold the button down, and when you want to lock into something.
We might have to do that on one of the shows.
Yeah.
Make your own spirit box. First, go to an antique store.
And there was this I forget the name of the team. I met them a long time ago, but they built a microphone that would hear EMF frequencies. So it took the EMF frequency and turned it into a sound that was audible to the human ear. That was pretty cool.
Well, are you talking about that parabolic microphone?
Mm-hmm. We took that to a haunted school where the janitors allegedly murdered some kids way back in the day.
Mm.
And we got a lot of weird noises and things. Didn't get really any concrete data, but a lot of personal experiences. So it was still pretty cool.
Well, that concrete data is going to become more and more difficult as we get deep state stuff with AI becoming better and better. So video, pictures, stuff like that is not going to really mean that much anymore, which is sad, because you have to have like the sand thing, right? Like I could make that an AI or whatever, but you could see them pouring sand and doing all that stuff, and not a lot of people are going to question if that was a deep fake video, but if you catch a spirit, like a legit spirit on like your phone or something, then there are going to be a lot of people that come out and say, well, that's just AI generated because our AI technology now is like amazing.
Yeah, I get you now.
Yeah.
But
Mr. Brown said sometimes you can hear them with your ears too, and I want to test new equipment for my paranormal here in my home.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely too. Because I just want to,
Activity.
yeah, I
Maybe.
hear high pitch, like even now. I mean, even it gets sometime when I think about it. I have a high pitched tones that it's like a I don't know what it is. It's like a tone in my ear that's constantly. It's like a ring sound. I don't
Left
know if
ear or
it's
right
white,
ear?
huh?
Which ear?
Both. I mean, it's just I can hear. It's just a constant ring that's in there. But when it's no, that's
Tinnitus.
why I keep the TV on or something playing so that I won't concentrate on it. Because if I concentrate on it, it gets louder to the point where
That's
I'm like,
tinnitus.
someone else
But
said that. It
yeah, how
might
you
be.
can tell the difference between tinnitus and hearing something else is tinnitus will be constant, but whenever you get a sound that goes like, and it's like a tone that changes, that's not tinnitus. I've had it to where I was sitting there. For me, my tinnitus sounds like if your radio station was on the wrong frequency, so like
Mhm.
static. But then sometimes I'll get like a high pitched thing that goes, and then goes, and then I'm like,
I think
look
I
around
think it
like
was
that
this,
wasn't
Benny.
tinnitus.
and that's a really great example of you tuning in to yourself. You're tuning into that frequency, that universal flow.
That's
That-
what someone else said. Tuning into yourself because like what Richard was just saying that do like when
I
I
think it
played those
was me, Benny,
frequencies.
that said to you about it, because you said to me about the ringing, and I said it could be that you're tuning into yourself. I said, or it could be a health issue. And I did
Yeah,
ask you what type of sound it sounds like, and you said it wasn't like one constant sound. It was like it was going up, down, and
go
doing all.
up and
Yeah,
down and depending
yeah.
on like I said, if I turn something, the radio or something down, it's going up because I'm paying attention to it. But the less I like if I'm active, I don't even hear it. If I'm doing something that I'm focusing on. But like, now that we were saying it, I hear that it's just a but like when I played the frequencies that you guys after we did the exercise that the silver chord that I do every night now, and then I played the 417 frequency, gone. And that's why I slept so good that night. Because like I said, when I lay down and I don't have any sound on, I'm sitting here hearing this ring in my ear all the damn time. And then it just gets louder to where I'm like, turn the TV back on. I just got to hear something different than this. But
Maybe talk to it.
yeah, see, that's what I'm wondering. Is it, you think it could be something sending me frequency sound? What are you showing there?
Talk
Like,
to it.
Hearing aids will help get rid of some of it.
hearing aids, I got earplugs, but it's like, the quieter it gets, it's still in there. It's not
So
coming
like
from outside, it's in my
the
head.
hearing aids, I hear you. The hearing aids that I have, they only amplify the sounds that my ears have trouble hearing, which is why I have the tinnitus because that's the missing frequency of sound that I can't hear, and my brain's trying to fill that white blank space with the noise. And unfortunately, my brain's not creative to actually make music, so it just goes.
Yeah. Misty says buzzing that changes pitch for me, Benny, and the side indicates which side spirit is on for me. You might have a point there, Misty, because just like right there, when I
Left
cover
ear is
both of
input,
my
right ear is
on
output.
this one right here, it sounds like that, and this
Left
one's
is
quiet,
in,
but
right
this
is
side
out.
I hear.
Correct.
But when I don't cover them, it's just a.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're
I think
hearing it in
the
your left
fourth
ear first,
dimension is
Benny. It
buzzing.
means that somebody's trying to connect and communicate with you. Left is taking input in, and right is taking input out. So it's leaving. It's going out.
Mm-hmm.
Inlet and outlet.
Now covering this one, I can hear it's like somebody's doing braille. I mean, not braille, but what's that they used to do? Morse code or something.
Morse coding.
It just feels like code, like Morse code on this side. on this side, my right side, and then on my left side it's just a ring. So I guess it's like coming in as the sound, and that's deciphered through my brain and coming out a signal. I wonder if I knew any way I could tape that or be able to get those sounds out of my head, man. I was like,
Usually
man,
learn Morse code and then figure out what your right ear is saying based upon the Morse code.
I thought it was probably you communicating me from one of those places you be going to, Christopher. That's what I was thinking, man. I was like, is that Christopher talking to
I
me?
would
Let's test.
I would do a hearing. I would do a hearing test first, see if there's actually hearing damage. If the hearing is still within nominal operating, then I would go to saying, okay, if this isn't my hearing degrading or damaged, what else could this be? And then I would look up the sounds that you're hearing and saying, okay, what? Because you can Google everything now. You just got to make sure that when you go to a site, you can see who's referencing it. You can even look up the author. That's what I do. You look up the author and see if they have credible works. If they don't, it may or may not be reliable. Like Wikipedia and stuff. Like I can go on Wikipedia and add stuff.
Yeah. I mean, but I used to, like I said, yeah, Sherry, your fan on your computer there, you might want to mute out. Yeah, but
Yeah.
like I said, I used to be a call center manager, so you always got the headphones on. So I was, I'd have to be listening to this person, and then you get that high pitched sound that comes through there. I think it ruptured my eardrums at one time. That's why sometimes with those headphones, it bothers me because I hear that whine and that other thing. So it might be some hearing problems that I have. But then, like I said, I know with
L tones.
the type of things that we study, it might be somebody or something communicating, and that's what's kind of fascinating about the frequencies and the sounds that, we say that, like when I was talking to someone about the channeling that some of you guys do, that I was like, okay, how would I know that a higher dimensional being is talking to me when they're not using the same laws of that a human is following by in this 3D world? So it could be like you said that tapping sound, or that drum sounds, or whatever sounds that they're trying to communicate, and whatever understanding comes from getting that sound that pops in my head. So I just wonder about, would these higher beings be using these frequencies to try to communicate with us and waiting on us to be able to decipher them? Anybody want to
And
comment on
cool point. If we look at, say, like angels, for example,
that? Mm-hmm.
beyond just the spiritual significance, the mighty, the great, and all of that, and the awe, and look at what an angel actually does, is a frequency, and that frequency creates an image, and that image holds a container for that energy to function. So when we understand that, we can utilize that type of energy more efficiently, which is all about the collective awakening. When we use and harness and embody that energy now, it uplifts everything. We are literal angels or deities, whatever energy we want to tap into and tune into, and we can create through that.
So cool.
Each one, even our names resonate a specific frequency. That's why they say in the ancient text, if you know the name of a thing, you know its power.
Mm-hmm.
So when we vibrate our name, intoning is very important, guys, especially if you want to get more into channeling. The better you get at intoning, you're able to pronounce those vocals that create those specific harmonics that bring that vibration instantly.
Yes. That's why I do different voices for different beings. It's a proxy
Exactly.
archetypal.
It's the way the
speed
energy expresses in the physical.
Yes.
What was you going to say
Also,
there, Rich? Yeah.
I was going to say also that explains why we have our physical body, because our physical body is limited to the range of which we can vibrate. That's why we're in the third dimension. But that's why we have our astral body, because our astral body is not limited to here. And for the naysayers out there, just let me mention this: if you've ever had a dream and you're like, "Man, that dream was so real," where you wake up and you like bolt out of bed and you're like looking around because you think whatever you saw or your nightmare or your other dream is going to be there. That wasn't a dream. That was you astral projecting into a different conscious reality or a different dimension. So that's what our higher soul is like the antenna that's closer to the radio station. When we astral project, we leave this limiting radio in the bed. We go out there and we get to explore and live in a different way, but we can also vibrate at a higher frequency, so we're able to go look at the other dimensions, but we're still attached to our body through a cord. Yeah.
They're always attached. And I forget who, but somebody asked me that the other day about getting lost. And yeah, if you travel to some place and you get so ingrained into the story that you experience there, you can get lost into the story. That's why they say shamanic traveling can be dangerous, especially if you're exploring your own trauma.
Yeah, you can just think of your body and it'll return you back, but you also have to be careful because there's other entities that are looking for that tether. And if they sever that tether, they can follow that tether back, and that's why you have sometimes it's like you can look up like instances where they're like, well, I don't know what was wrong with my husband. Was like fine one moment, and then the next moment it's like I didn't even know him. Well, something followed something back into his body, and not all of the cases are like that. Like exorcists and stuff like that is things find the tether, they come in, take the container over, which prevents you from getting back into your container.
This is why you have to have a shamanic spirit partner that's on the other side, that knows the other side better than you do.
And it helps you. So one of the first things a shaman learns before they start venturing out there is to find our spirit partner or a spirit wife.
Mine is Kate Price. Comes from a different timeline.
Nice. Mine is Gaia, Mother Earth.
Same. Mine's Gaia. Well, Mother Earth, I call her. Yeah.
Very
I
cool.
still haven't mastered it yet, so whenever I do it, it's just, oh, I'm here now. Okay, so then I'll monitor my surroundings, and then if it gets too weird for me, I'm like, I need to go back to my body. And then I'll wake up and be like, I think I'm just going to go back to regular dreaming right now. But I'm still new to all of that, so I can't really do it at will. But when I do it, it's a trip. It's better than anything that you can take on Earth.
Yeah, because you're doing it on your own volition.
Yeah, one of the things that has helped a lot, guys, when we're talking about magic circles, speaking of frequencies, we cast a magic circle inside our head around our prana tube. And what that does is create a filter that we become aware of what's coming in before it hits that prana tube. That prana tube is what creates an emotional resonance. And wherever we are, if we don't allow that experience to create emotional resonance, we are free to leave at any moment. How we get stuck there is by being stuck in that emotional resonance. And that's where the danger comes in. So when I go into a shamanic journey for a client, I journey into the muck to their story. And if any part of it would resonate with me that I got so focused on the story that I forgot I have the ability to control myself completely, that can be detrimental. And that's what I think is so fascinating about you, Rich. Some of the things you say just tell me that you have a good control of that mental capacity. And that's very important, guys, for this type of work.
Your stuff, right?
Because when frequencies come in, they create thought forms in our mind. Those thought forms influence us subtly. When we're paying attention, they can create some real chaos for us.
Yeah, you gotta have some private, you gotta have connection and control of what you're doing. Definitely.
Yeah, like when yesterday, like I said, we had the show on chakras, and we didn't with time constraints, we didn't play it all, but also Sherry was she was talking about the different sounds that that are associated with just opening up the different chakras and the different frequencies that, like in the video that you seen that I sent you, Shaman Perry, dealing with the crystals. Yeah. And being able to open up the chakras to make the golden, oil come through us. That I don't know, Sherry, you were talking about not just the crystals, but the different sounds that can be associated with each of these, the chakra system. And like I said, we know the sounds of phonetics cause vibration and frequencies. It's the toning You know,
Yeah.
if you want to, I don't know how I said, you know, you think of what you were talking about, the importance of knowing the tones. You know, also, are you there? Did I ask a question or did I
They're
just give a
different.
statement?
That's definitely a different sound frequencies.
Mm-hmm. That each of these different frequencies that can keep me.
One of the things you're talking about, dude, is
So we
the
did upload it every time you said. That's the wrong
Richard, you might want to mute.
each mantra has a specific tone to it. So I did one on my Facebook page the other day, guys, called the heart chakra, which is yam. And when we
Yeah.
intone that, we go yam,
Rom, rom.
yam,
Mhm.
yam.
Mm.
Each chakra has a different association, and you can break those syllables, those words down, like M, into their individual syllables.
You got lum, vam, sam, tam, yum,
Rom.
But here it
hum,
said,
Yeah.
hum,
that's the sixth one.
Yeah.
hum. There's loads.
You need to mute.
You could also mute Richard yourself.
You got that.
But that is super cool. I love intoning those things.
No, I'm not trying to rush you.
Okay. Yeah. I can hear a little bit better there. I didn't know I could do that, man. Hey, I learn every day from Christopher Peoples, man. I tell you.
Very
But
cool.
yeah, when I one of my first videos, because like I said, it came from I think Christopher, you told me that my learning of the chakra came from it wasn't just Rike, it was when I first started getting into the different chakras and the sounds, when I first got the hum, lam, ram, sam, you know, going along with your meditation, that how it, you know, it cleanses and it's like it makes those words make you feel good. The sounds themselves, you know, because it's those chakras are some of that blockages that's coming out of there, you know, and it was like it's best to start with the solar when you're doing the sounds go down and come back up, and some a
Hmm.
lot of people say it's best to start with the root and go up. Some people say it's best to start with the crown and go down. Which one do you think as a shaman is the best way of clean, you know, of working your chakra system, Shaman Perry? And then
Start at the
the rest.
solar plex. That's the seat of the power itself. That's the chakra center that draws in the life force. That life force is what we need to activate and balance the other ones. Pull it in through the solar plex, then down to the root. Heal the root to heal the tree. Once you
Mhm.
do that, following the process of Christos, allowing that fluid during that time of the month for everyone will naturally allow all of that energy to open and balance everything out all by itself. That is
Yes.
really all we have to do, guys, is just follow that. And our body will naturally take care of that. And that'll give us more energy, clarity of thought. Our body will feel better. When the body feels better, the mind's more at ease. The mind's our ally, not our enemy.
Hmm.
That's so true. That's so true.
Love living holistically.
Let me
Yes.
make sure I got you unmuted there, Rich.
Oh, man.
I'm here.
So, and that's actually interesting. I had somebody tell me the other day they opened their chakra, their crown, their third eye chakra, and seen all these demons. And that's exactly why. Those things, those horrors, those scary things exist in your lower realms, in the realm of your emotions. If you don't master them first, that is the first thing that's going to come up because that's everything you've repressed, your shadow.
Yeah, don't. A lot of people jump like, I'm going to activate my third eye. And
Yeah.
they don't, like, whoa. Skirt. You need to stop that. You need to go all the way down to your root chakra and make sure that sucker is unblocked. Then you're going to move up to your sacrum, navel, heart, throat, sorry,
No, the throat, the third eye, the crown,
Yep.
ajna.
Root,
Yep.
sacral,
In.
solar plexus, heart, throat, the third eye, and the crown.
Hmm.
Thank you. But start from the bottom, work your way up, because you don't want to force this sucker open. Because yeah, you can close the door, but once the door goes and you look, most of the time once you do that, like what was mentioned, you see them. However, they're gonna see you.
And there's an old
Yeah.
saying that says,
And put
once
yourself,
you see the unseen, you can't unsee it.
Hmm.
And that's why that door's open. It's open, guys. Do it.
Yeah,
Like when I
that's
had
kind of
my
how it is when I'm
training
thinking.
with an actual mentor, he was very adamant about doing the root first. I worked on my root chakra for almost 3 months before he gave me any instruction at all on any other chakras. And actually, I'm really glad he did that because I was one of those too. I fell in that same like, screw all this, man. I want the fun stuff. Come on, let's do it. But I'm grateful for his wisdom in that. And working through that myself, I've seen so much easier, guys, and it's more fun because you can control it.
And it's not all rainbows and sunshines though, because you're gonna see the whole spectrum. Because your third eye is not limited to just your visual.
Yeah. In a spiritual text, when we open that center, the let thy eyes become one. That third eye, these three create a very powerful triangle where we have one eye, the all-seeing eye, that lives up to its name, guys.
Which is different than the whispering eye.
see lots of different things, different planets, different galaxies, universal things, all sorts through that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
this
you
is why
guys,
I do it through remote transcription, where I transcribe in words what I've seeing through different realities, but I don't see it through the eyes. I just see it through
The
knowledge.
solar plexus is the doorway to all of everything.
Yeah, and the
That is
heart
a very
too.
powerful one.
Yes, it
And
is.
it's Ram for your solar plexus.
The ram is also the animal of
Yeah.
Aries, I think.
And
wow,
here there is the different chakra frequencies too. So each chakra has its own unique frequency.
Yes.
So like
Yeah,
the
we
third
read
eye
this out
frequency,
yesterday as well. I
yeah,
actually put that up there that you've got like 338 HZ, and like there's so many. I said this in some of the videos yesterday that they all have their own tone and frequency number,
Yeah.
and even a letter A, B, C, D, E. Like these are all in the category of the frequency. That's
yeah.
why I was reading it all out yesterday, and that.
And
Yes.
that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that, Willow. Because, guys, if we want to understand the essence of the frequency, we can use those individual syllables to do so. So, what is the essence of the L syllable? What is the essence of the A and the M? And those three essences come together to create something new. Or,
Well, I mean, because here's a question for you guys: why is those mantras so important and the hand gestures and unlocking? How does it actually unlock the chakra center? Because it's not just you're not putting a key in and turning it and open the door. Those specific sounds and hand gestures are doing what?
they help you connect the frequency. So, just like Benny's doing, all of those, our whole body is an energetic circuit. If we look at our whole being as an energy board, a circuit board, it makes so much more sense. That's what clicked it for me. So going like this connects our two hemispheres. A physical action, the macro reflects the micro, brings us into different states of being. And we just hold that pose and allow us to feel that being, that state, and we can then learn to shift between them consciously.
Yeah, you have the different ones. Like, well, for instance, like with your third eye and with your crown, there isn't actually a frequency number, but it's A and B that can right. So for your crown chakra, you can hit keynote B to communicate. With your third eye, it would be keynote A. Then you've got your navel as well, which is your vocal E, and it's R. And then you've got like your throat chakra, which is keynote G frequency and goes up 384 Hz. You have your heart at frequency F going at 341.3 Hc.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your sacral at 288 Hc, and you've got your root at 256 Hc, and that's in C. Sacral is D, navel is E, heart is F, throat is G, and obviously your third eye is A, and your crown is B.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you go and get them all, it's nice little harmony melody that plays. I think that may be a suggestion in the future. We do a show like this where we specifically talk about this. We'll start with the main chakras. We'll go through the mantra. Like, hey, this is what you want to do. You should practice this. Do this one for like 5 minutes. Do another one for like 5 minutes, and but only if you're ready to start like getting the juices flowing. And then from there, we can kind of touch on the other chakras that mainstream like influencers and stuff don't really talk about. Because like uh, Willow was talking about, my the way I can explain it since I'm a gamer is if you ever play Final Fantasy X, it's like a grid sphere. You have your main spheres in the middle, and then you have hundreds of other little dot spheres that you can fill in that each do a different thing and each tweak something a different way. But that to me, that's in that what describes your whole chakra as a whole, like the whole system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I'm down for that. And we could even do a journey into the chakras. Because guys, when we look at the chakras as a place that exists in space, we can journey there. And that's when they talk about in the Bible the seven seals. It's our seven chakras. As we unlock them, we unlock the realm of that. So we want more stability, especially more monetary stability. We got to imbalance in the root somewhere.
Yes.
So this was
That root, we balance that energy out.
a question
Right.
I had for Christopher, since
Mm-hmm.
he has visual impairment. He since he has that visual impairment, he has to rely on his other senses. So how does the vibrations and stuff come off like stronger or weaker towards you, since that visual representation that the rest of us who don't have that impairment, um, we see everything, like I see a bunch of like colors and stuff like that. I've noticed that since my hearing has gone down, um, my touch and my sight, even though I wear glasses, um, things become like more vibrant and stuff like that because my body is adjusting to the fact that I have an impairment with my ears. So I want to know from like your point of view, where you do have this visual impairment, once you encounter these different frequencies, like how are you interacting with them? Like what do they look like to you? Because you have to wonder, like, if you have this visual impairment where you can't really see, um, what is
Mm-hmm.
your mind do to represent those things?
It represents it through emotions, whereas red feels like the energy of blood or like meat. Orange feels like fire. Yellow feels like the sun. Green feels like a forest or plants or leaves. Blue is the energy of water, sky, and feathers. Indigo feels like the energy of the blue avians. Violet feels more related to purpliness, which is the energy of royalty. And white feels like a neutral, innocent energy. Black feels like a completely absorbent energy. It's completely introspective. Pink is like a lighter version of red. It feels a bit more pig like, and it goes on and on.
Well, what you saying that, Chris? Let me a comment from Misty Mountains to you, Chris. She
Yeah.
says, Christopher, you keep hitting on stuff I am being shown over the past few weeks. She said, is there a way to figure out which wave a person is on? Frequency, I mean. Is there a way to figure out which frequency that different people are on, Christopher, or any of you guys?
You can use technology to visually see what vibrational frequency someone is at. If you are a sensitive that only feels things on the heart, you can figure out what energy a person is vibrating at by what chakras they're not using, and then deducting from there.
More to the out in left field. Um, I'm under to the understanding that if you do have experiences with other entities, like
Yes.
our neighbors in space, the different types of entities that you're going to be interacting with will be a direct reflection of where you sit on the frequency wavelength chart. If you're lower, you're going to be dealing with our little short friends that are in the movies and stuff like that. If you're in the higher to almost 100K frequencies, you might get some visitation from our little Pleiadian friends. Not little, they're not little, they're taller than me. Um, so that's like the far left thing. But like Christopher said, you could do scientific methods. I heard there are some psychics. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but there's some people with some psychic abilities that can kind of tap into it and kind of give you a rough estimate, like, hey, you're between like this and this. Or if you know an empaths will kind of give you an idea.
All of that's very awesome. And guys, go look up your human design chart. Your human design chart is your printout of your physical frequency that you were born with. That's based off a layer deeper than the chart is called the gene keys. Our keys hold our specific
Yes.
energetic frequency. It's in our genes.
There's 64 of them.
Yep. And by studying our chart, we understand our natural frequency and how we're supposed to interact in the world. That's everything's in there. Our vocation, the way that we are designed to make money, the way we are designed to find relationships, the way we're designed to take in food, process it's all in there, guys.
Yes, you are.
It's very fascinating.
You are quite a high vibrational being because of what you can do as well. I've directly communicated and connected to Misty, so
and
you've got a very high frequency. You're like me, which is why I get things like Pleiadian energies and stuff like that communicate with me.
Yeah.
You hit a point there. That's what I was going to ask you.
And
next.
I am connected. I am actually meant to be Pleiadian.
Pleiadian Lyran hybrid.
Do these different extraterrestrials, probably a question for Chris or, the Omni, the quantum there. Do any of these different extraterrestrials, their frequencies change from higher to lower, or I'm pretty sure they do, depending on what they are or
Depends
whatever.
upon what realm they're interacting with. They will change their frequency to do that.
Yeah.
They're changing octaves, but they're keeping the same chakra frequency band with understanding in the shape. They're just changing what octaves they're in to be in what type of place or dimensionality they're in to connect with different beings. Like us, we're way down here. They're like way up there. So they have to change to be way down here to be with us down here on the ground. And then they're way up there in those higher realms that we can't see quite yet. So that means that they would have to contract their awareness inward to be with us, and then they spread it back outward like a balloon to go back home.
I was told at one time that the human DNA has the same frequency as Mother Gaia Earth. I believe it's 753. There's something about our DNA.
7.53 hertz, because when you multiply that,
yes.
It's 7.83 hertz. Multiply that, you can get 430.365, which is the true calculation of A.
And that's why it's good for us to do grounding, because of the shoes that we wear that have rubber and the different steel toes and everything, that we absorb so much negative energy that if we don't ground back to that same frequency that we're a part of, that's where the sicknesses and illnesses over time.
The 24th chromosome pair encodes the planet you're born onto, which is why extraterrestrials and the fairies can tell you what planet you're from.
So is that base 7.53 hertz? Is that your wavelength of your brain?
I heard DNA, but I'm not sure which one is it, Chris. Is it brain wavelength, or because someone said the DNA is frequency? I was like, DNA has frequency?
Everything has frequency.
DNA does have frequency, yeah.
Man.
Everything does. Everything's made of frequency, guys, literally.
Yes.
From smallest tiniest particle to the largest celestial body in the sky. It's all made of the same thing, just
Mhm.
vibrate at a different rate.
But the quantum entanglement is built on that premise, huh? That the frequency.
Singularities to
Yeah.
universes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, and that's pretty awesome there. I think that's pretty neat
That is
because
great.
now they're learning about they what is it? CERN is trying to find the God particle. I'm like, okay. And then one of you guys was talking about the God frequency, wasn't you? In a chat or something the other day, that frequency that was, I think it was just such a high frequency that I can't remember what it was saying, but someone was talking about either the God frequency when I started talking about the God particle. It might have been Mark. I'm not sure.
I wasn't talking about it.
It wasn't me, but we did
Yeah.
find the guard particle. We found that back in 2020.
The boson
Right.
Higgs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They found another particle too, and they also proved. This is also interesting, kind of off topic, but they also proved that dark matter is real. So
Yes.
above, so below.
Yeah,
Did you say Darth Vader's real?
Dark matter.
dark
Oh,
matter.
I was gonna say Darth. Please don't tell me Darth Vader's real, bro. I'm like, damn, y'all gonna really scare me, man.
Every
Look,
character of every story is real, Benny. You just have
He
to find
said-
the right timeline.
Yeah, he spoke to me and he said,
Once the
"Leave that butt here."
exists.
what's cool while you're saying that? We're talking about movies. There was a video that was on that was talking about Close Encounters of the Third Kind, because the guy
Of
that
course
did
they
the
would.
movie, that one of the people that was there at the Eisenhower thing when the aliens came down or whatever, everything that
1954.
movie was made on was based off of the information that he got from this whistleblower that sent it to him. So
Yeah.
the do 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 and all of that, they was like most of that movie was real occurrences that had happened. I don't know if everybody, I might be old, but I don't know if y'all remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
The aliens still freak me out.
Yeah. Every time I watched that, I was like, man, that movie is so cool. Then he tried to build that little mountain thing out of mud and messed the whole house up. I was like, man, I want to build a mountain. I want to mess a house up like that. I got issues, guys.
And he was building the stump of a Yggdrasil.
Yeah, and it's like the sounds led him to it, or you know what I'm saying? It's like you guys talking about these frequencies and sounds and phonetics. They get ingrained into your mind and they're speaking to us. Like these little noises I'm hearing. Maybe, I'm gonna go out here and build a spaceship or something. Maybe they're trying the same way as Noah got his, that's what I was saying. So these angels and how they speak and these other beings, they use these different type of things that we're just now coming in tune with learning on. But some people had the ability to decipher or to decode what these things are. And I think that most of you guys are on that path, like I said, when
Mhm.
it comes to that.
Yeah.
Hey, Alicia,
What was interesting about the movie is, yes, they're using music, but in the base form of that, it's just math.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm.
The entire universe is based on mathematical precision.
Yes.
Misty Mountain said, "I'm not sure exactly who is sending me the runes in writing. I have been having a lot of visions." Ooh, what kind of runes, if I may ask? Runes are kind of my thing.
Yeah.
It was Richard, wasn't me, Misty. It's probably Richard. That's his specialty down there. And C Neo. That's why I got Shaman Perry to help me. What are ruins, guys? Please, inform me.
Runes, not ruins.
What are ruins?
Depends on your interpretation. To me, it's a physical manifestation of old energy. It helps you visualize the magical symbols that you use. Very, very old and strong, very
Ancient.
strong magic.
They're ancient,
Yes.
and some runes can be connected to like Viking and Celtic traditions as well.
Hmm.
It's a very ancient language.
The Vikings' gods, some of them are
Yeah,
the parents of the
they are.
Pleiadians.
They're
Okay,
very
let me
high
clear that up quick.
messages.
Vikings was not a society. It was a job, like farmers and everything like that. So you have your Scandinavian people up in that region, so a lot of the Norse people or
Pirate.
Vikings, what we call now, would be Danish, Norwegian, Scandinavia, Iceland, Sweden, up in that area. So
Denmark,
just a
Finland.
clarification, like Viking was profession. Once they went and I'm going to be a Viking, they did their pillaging. They came back. I'm a sheep herder.
Right. Right. It's a job like a pirate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. What does she
That's
say here?
She said hieroglyphs and Celtic rune put into writing for to communicate. So you're talking so bits like that. I'm not really familiar with the Celtic rune, but if it's for writing to communicate. If it was the Norse runes, it would be the Younger Futhark, which they started to use to like actually use the Futharks to like write letters and stuff like that. Where the older Futhark is more symbology they use in staves and amulets and stuff like that. You would put these runes in like a line, connect them with emotion. Most of the time, when you're doing that, what you do is you would put a little bit of blood in that scratch work that you did to really empower that sucker. Also, your runes should be binded to you. An ancient way to bind them is to use blood magic, so nobody else can use them and they'll be inert.
That's very astute, Richard. And rune magic itself, the essence of the runes, guys, is very masculine in nature.
Yes, it is.
The sharp edges. There's no real circles in that language, whether we're using writing or the symbolic reference. So it's very,
What's
very.
the sorry? What's the book? What's the book title? Also, when you're going to be doing rune work, it's very interesting because just like the chakra work, where you do your frequency humming, you do the same thing with the names of the runes. There's different poses like this and some other poses and stuff to do that help you connect more with the runes. All about music, vibrations, and frequencies. Very interesting stuff.
You do guided meditation, don't you also, Rich?
I have done a couple. Um, but for me, yeah, if I'm having like a really stressful day and that one, I don't really drink that much. So usually I'll have like a beer and it'll give me like a nice little manageable buzz where I'm not like drunk or whatever. Um, but if I don't want to do that and I'm just stressed out and I'm having a hard time like processing stuff, uh, I'll put on
Now I forgot.
I'll put on an aura meditation because it really helps me concentrate. And the meditation is practices filling me up with my aura as a container. And then once it goes through that for a couple of minutes, the aura, we project it to the room, to the house, to the city block, to the town, to the nation, to the country, to the world, to the universe. Like you expand it as far as you can visualize, and then you go and you suck it back in. And through that calm relaxation, I can feel the aura spread out, fill me up. It's kind of cool because it feels like you drink hot cocoa and you've been outside in like sub freezing weather, and it goes out and it comes in. Um, yeah, it's interesting. I recommend guided meditation if you have a hard time visualizing things um, with meditation. And you guys can correct me if this is incorrect, or I guess everybody has their different ways for meditating. For me, I've learned that the harder I try to clear my mind, the more of a circus show that it becomes. So what I do is I get like a thought comes in. I'm like, huh, an elephant driving a plane, skydiving into the Grand Canyon. That's interesting. Okay. And I let that go. And then the more you do that and you acknowledge the thoughts, acknowledging the thoughts is what's actually going to get your brain to say, okay, calm down, calm down. Because if I tell you not to think of a pink rubber chicken attached to a car dragging on the ground, what are you gonna do?
That's all you're going to think about.
Yeah.
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 Now I'm thinking about giant chickens driving monster trucks, yelling at you to bring your mail to the mail truck.
Yeah. Don't you think about that candy bar?
And guys, that's the practice of mindfulness. That's how we cultivate mindfulness. When we're mindful and present, we simply observe whatever thought is in our head. That's also how we reach what's called 0 point consciousness, the state inside the heart center where nothing has any meaning except what we give it.
Correct. Same with symbolism and runes
Yeah.
and shapes. Everything has no meaning until we give it meaning.
Good point there. I want to take 11 seconds of your time just to some visuals. I'm sorry, Chris, that I explained to you what they were earlier, but I'm going to show these real quick and just tell me what they.
Jen. First of all, I literally had the Xbox 3,
Love that.
Xbox 360
Again.
of Minecraft.
Someone's playing games on Twitch.
Yeah, that's my boy.
That's on your end. I thought that was on Richard's end.
My dad never.
Yeah. Those were some of the pictures that I wish I could slow them down and show them there, but they were just some of the things when you guys were talking about frequencies that, like that first one there that's being showed. I believe that one was talking about the different frequencies that a black hole gives off. And the other one, like the one that shows that light, that's what makes me think about you a lot, Rich, when that occurrence was happening with you the other day. And when I visualized what that light that was over you, that me and Sherry even discussed it. Like if you look at it one more time, not that one right there, but that one is like, that's what I was seeing. It was like you was laying down in the bed and that light was radiating from you, and it just like something was over him, and it was either trying to do something to that light or change something with that light or take that light off, but they couldn't do it because you was talking about that silver cord. This was after that silver cord show, and you was explaining how to, the silver cord, to mine it, and then see yourself out in the universe, and then you was like have the gold come down on you and surround you, and that's what that picture, that kind of reminds me of when I look at it and I think about being in that little box. I don't know what kind of box that is. What are they called? It's not a. I forgot. What is that? Those boxes we always talk about that are generating Christopher Peoples. Shit, I can't think of what it's like. A squares and the squares and the squares and the squares.
Nested boxes.
Tetrahedron. And the tetrahedron and the power of the tetrahedron. Then I think about the spinning of these type of things, because like you said, when spin something, it gives a certain whine. But if it has different edges to it, it's going to be cutting air a different way and make different sounds, the same way that a harmonica makes sounds in these frequencies. And that's why, it's important that people know, just like when Sherry was talking about in the show yesterday, that these chakra sounds and the sounds that the phonetics of the sounds cause frequency, just the same way as you thinking causes a frequency, because it's electrical synapses being sparked off there, off and on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just had to say that. I don't know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
that one with the being inside the square, it reminds me very much of the celestial frequency and energy.
Mm-hmm. And
So yeah, not to be like religious or anything.
Yeah, and then the other one is like the frequencies of like ETs and things like that, higher dimensional being frequencies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's what the last one reminds me of.
yeah. Those are more of my specialty.
Yeah.
So we have to be very careful of the frequencies and the noises that we hear. To put it in context for our Christian listeners out there, don't take my word for it. You can look up Luke 8:18, and it says, "Be careful, therefore, how you hear." So basically, in a nutshell, it's be careful what you pay attention to, because you're constantly getting bombarded by different frequencies, right? So we
Mhm.
have, well, and I had the conversations with Anunnaki and Christopher before in like private chats that we have about how we're getting bombarded with different frequencies every day. So just in your house, you're getting hit with probably 100 different Wi-Fi signals. All a Wi-Fi signal is a wave frequency. Um,
Mhm.
Gigahertz.
yeah.
Yeah.
Light also is hertz and stuff like that, and certain
Terahertz.
wavelengths can contain information. So
Yeah.
just me not trying to be a conspiracy theory out there, but that's why you have all these apps like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, and everything else out there that are trying so desperately to get your attention.
And guys, a great exercise for this is take your cell phone and put it by your sacral chakra. That pleasure, that whole device is designed to activate that center and give you pleasure, which it gives you dopamine, which makes all of us addicted to it. And that goes
Yeah.
back to why we were saying they changed the frequency. Changing that frequency, especially for people that are sensitive to those types of frequencies, it creates all kinds of static that can distract us.
Wow.
Just
Misty must be on point because I was thinking that same thing in the next comment. I'm gonna read her first comment. It sort of reminds me of the Rosetta Stone affects glyphs above the ruins under. Then she went, not that one. It says 5G is causing many health issues. I was just gonna ask you guys that. I was gonna say, they was doing the warning about the 5G towers and all of that. And I'll tell you, I didn't start hearing these sounds where I was living at in Houston. They built a 5G tower right at the end of the complex that I stayed in. And I don't know if I was telling somebody earlier I was telling Sherry about my cat. And my cat would leave the house when I left the house and he'd always be waiting for me. And it's like he's always annoyed at that area where that 5G tower is. It's like he would sit there and just kind of look at it like, what is this thing saying? Like it was saying something or giving out signals. And it just made me think, them 5G towers, what you guys were saying, are they brainwashing with subliminal frequency technology or, I'm not sure. That's what one of these things that conspiracy theorists would think about.
He would be reacting to that though, because he's an animal. Animals are very in tendency
Intuitive
to hear things
frequency.
that we can't hear
Mm-hmm.
and
That's
things like
that.
that. So that's why, like
Yeah.
my boy will sit there and there's sound. Like I hear a lot of sounds, a lot of things because of my vibrational energy and how high I am. But there's sometimes like there's things I can't hear, but I can clearly know that he's hearing things because his ears would be pricking up and they're very open and very vibrational feeling animals. Most definitely are.
Yeah, and
And
that's
he,
perfect MCAT paranormal research. It said that that's true. The double split experiment in quantum ensure experiments show us that the universe pays attention to what we pay attention to, or
yes.
energy goes where attention flows, or energy flows
Yes,
where attention goes.
Hmm.
you're right, MCAT.
Observer effect, yes.
Yeah,
It's all
Back
about the
to
general
what
observer line.
Anunnaki was talking about, certain frequencies like, so when they put up these cell phone towers and they start pumping out this 5G, before
Yeah.
that there was a 2G, 3G, 4G, 4G LTE. Now there's a 5G LTE, and they're talking about getting more and more and more. They do
Right.
not remove the other antennas. Those guys still got power to them. You can even so five gigahertz is this massive super energetic frequency, right? Super
Yeah.
5,000
Super clean and download
per
and all.
yeah per second. That's what you're getting bombarded with. So here's the interesting thing. So you take something not so energy high, so like 120 volts, still a sine wave, right? Still produces an energy field, still produces a frequency wave that goes out.
Yeah,
220. Did you know that if your bed was on the side where the power comes into your house and you put your bed on the wall, you will start becoming more anxious, have higher anxiety, um, start getting paranoid because the electromagnetic distortion or EMI, electromagnetic interference from the power coming into your house will start to alter your brain and your chemistry, cause you to have these ailments of anxiety, paranoia,
electromagnetic
frustration,
field
all of that. And
frequency.
those
Yes.
frequencies are way down there, right? Way down there. What do you think's happening when you're getting bombarded with 5 gigahertz? They don't do any studies about that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
There's so this thing is an antenna, receiver, and it sends the things out, right?
Yeah, because it brings a transceiver.
Thank you, Misty.
Yeah,
So
electromagnetic field or frequency, it's called.
and there's a warning. If you were looking at your handbook for this, they suggest that you do not keep this on your person because of the damage that it causes. There was an influx in women with breast cancer because women would put it into their shirt and their bra, and men would. There's a influx in testicular cancer as well because we have this little portable frequency generator that we put in our pocket close to our
Or your
genitals.
fanny packs.
Also, here's something that's really scary. So we look at the screen all the time, right?
For you people, yes.
I did this as an experiment. I had a welder's mask on and I put it to auto. So when it does the auto thing, it determines how bad what you're looking at is for your eyes and will darken from light all the way to where you can't see it and barely see it based upon how dangerous it is for your eye. When I looked at my phone, it went to the darkest setting.
And this is fascinating, guys. When we look at it's called the field, it's called biogeometry. A scientist actually determined the different energetics of each of the electromagnetic frequencies. And 5G, he determined emits what he calls a negative green energy. So when energy itself is introduced into the environment, it breaks off. It's introduced as a white light that breaks off into a spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Spectrum is what gives us the color spectrum. And each one of those colors contains the specific frequencies. A little sliver that was undetectable up until he found it was called all of the negative aspects, all of the harmful side effects of using these different frequencies when they're out of harmony. And he created a way that he could neutralize these frequencies. In Prague, there was a little village, little farm village. They installed one of these 5G towers there, and within a matter of 3 days, the entire livestock in the whole town was wiped out, died of cancer. People had to live and dig holes in the ground just to live there. He built a machine that nullified that negative green energy, and within a week, all the plant life came back. People were able to live back in their homes, and some of the animals that were on the verge of dying actually healed within a matter of days.
Wow.
And with the cell phone, in his book, Biogeometry, he lists all the different symbols and shapes that nullify these frequencies. So if we were to take a piece of paper with that shape on it and stick it to the back of our phone, it nullifies the negative effects of the EMF field on us. Very
Cool.
And I would like to see that. That'd be awesome.
Hit me up, man. I got the book. Anybody wants it, I'll happily send it to you. Hit me up.
Okay. Yeah, anytime. So MCAT Paranormal Research, he said, I really like Wheeler's participatory universal idea. This suggests that the observer is part of the process of creating the universe and not just the outside depth. Absolutely. I agree with this 100% because we create our own reality, right?
Right.
It's part of our consciousness.
Right. We are the creators of our own reality. And in doing that, when we move through reality and nature with harmony, we harmonize with all life. Like this conversation right here. If all of us weren't in harmony to some degree, at least energetically, conversation like this wouldn't be possible. So, absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a positive conversation, putting that positive energy and frequency. That is what it is about, is putting that energy and frequency out.
Absolutely.
Just because we observe the universe causes the universe to act in a certain way, just like the electron experiment that we had mentioned earlier. So when they were observing the electrons, it wasn't acting how it should have, or when they didn't observe it, the electrons like acted totally different. It's just like superposition, right? So in quantum physics, superposition, not to mansplain anything, but so they said if you were to place a card on its end, hello, and balance it perfectly, it would stay perfectly balanced forever without an outside force acting upon it. Now, if there's no wind, no air, no nothing in this room, and you were to walk in this room and not disturb anything, just your visual sight would cause the card to fall. But it would fall in both directions, and you would only see the side of it that you wanted to see.
Wow,
That's how powerful our intention is.
that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. And guys, I'm loving this conversation, but I gotta go. I gotta get up early in the morning.
Yeah, I was gonna say that we need a part two to this, man. You know, because like I said, you know what you was talking about, Richard, that we go into the sounds and everything else, and you know what you were talking about, Shaman, is showing us how to make one of these phonetic things that you was talking about. You know, using doing a radio. So many different things that we learn every time with you guys, man. It's so awesome. But we're going on like 2 hours and 11 minutes, and you know,
Yes.
talking to you guys, we could talk all day long, which we usually do all day long anyway in the chat rooms and everything else. And I want to thank Christopher Peoples and Richard Strickers there for coming up with the concept for this show, and thank you know, Shaman Perry for coming in, and always the Queen Willow for coming in with you know, like I said, it bled over from yesterday's show from in you know, exploring new phenomenon. But if you guys want to say bye and tell people, you know, where they can find you at and reach you at, like we always do before we go up out of here, because these guys are great, and you know, let each and everybody go. Ladies first.
Hello, I'm Sherry, also known as Willow. You can find me on PWI Spiritual Investigators. You can also find me on my Facebooks under Sherry Brett and Sherry M. Brett. And you can also join groups like within the Cauldron, Truth Seekers, and places like that to talk to me as well, guys. So just reach out. Lots of love.
Shaman Perry. Yeah. Shaman Perry, 'cause I know you got to go there.
Pleasure, guys. You guys can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/Shaman Perry, or on Facebook at Michael Perry. That's my name. And you can check us. Me and Willow are going to be hanging out tomorrow night, I think, right, hon? So we can
Yes,
come.
I've got a show tomorrow. We're going to be talking more spirituality stuff and beliefs and where different beliefs hit in with spirituality. Rich, you're more than welcome to join in as well if you want to. I have invited some people. I can
Yeah.
send you the link if you're interested. And Christopher, there's probably going to be quite a few of us, but I think I like the more people, the better. I think you get a good conversation out of that.
Great conversations out of it. So, guys, happy to connect. And again, if anybody would like that book, Biogeometry, hit me up. I'm more than happy to share it, guys.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So, have a great night, guys.
Lots
All
of
right.
love.
You too.
Have a good
We'll
night.
get to the hosts of the show, the hostess with the mostest. There's actually, if you guys don't know, there's two hosts. I'm a co-host. You've got Richard Strickers, and we've got C Neo over there. That
Yep.
you know, the quantum critic there. So it's we'll leave Richard for last since he was last to come on. And C Neo, you can tell him where what dimension to find you in, and well, you know, let me just say before you go, let me say Misty Mountain right there. We love you guys. Kim out there, MCAT, all the crew from over there and everything. She says love and light, peace and prayers, everyone. Hands, chans, yellow, heart, red, and you know, blessed to all. So these guys, man, they're part of our show too, man. You, Misty and MCAT and the rest of you guys that join in, you guys are part of the show. And you know, us guys, we appreciate you. But go ahead, Christopher Peoples. We can't find you because you're in the dark in there if you didn't know. But you know, he's like you said, he's a visually impaired guy there. So there he is. We found him. He came out of that dimension there. Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you want to tell them where they can find you at, besides here at the show.
You can find me here at the show whenever the heck the show decides to air on Sundays. You can find me on Exploring New Phenomenon at 4:30 Central Time on Saturdays. You can find me in the astral realm. You can find me in my Mopsphere Universe. You can find me in 7 other timelines if you want to go over there. You can find me on YouTube at Omni Collective Creativity. You can find me on Facebook at my name, Christopher Peebles. And you can find me on Twitter, now called X, at ET Human Equality. You can find me on Discord at Omni4948. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
I got a pen right now. I'm acting like I'm writing all these different things down, man. So I'm glad these can be played back so I can get some of those to find you at. I can find him all the time. He's always in the chats and in the Facebooks, but I know we're running out of time here. But the man, you know, right there, man, Richard, that video that you pulled up, man, was so cool because, like I said, I seen the other one. It shows the freezing of the water, and you know, people, you know, might want to tell people where they can find that type of stuff. So if they're more interested, you know, if they're interested in looking that stuff up and seeing it for themselves, also when you know when you do your outro here.
So the easiest way to find those experiments, I find, is YouTube. All you gotta do is look up sound experiments or sound or sand reacting to different sound. You can find a bunch of different videos on there, and you can watch ones where they cycle through all the different sound, the different frequencies, and you'll watch like the sand go from like a circle to a square, and then it'll start forming these super complex geometric shapes, and it's crazy. You're like, how is this sound making the sand do like that? But it's just how everything interacts. I don't know. I'm not. Sometimes I stumble over my words or whatever. Um, you can find me. I'm working on a YouTube channel. I had other ones, but I'm disconnecting from those because they don't have to do with this kind. It's going to be called the Veil Explorer, the Hidden Path. I'm still working on it, trying to get it up. I just want to say thank you to all of our viewers. Thank you to Willow, Anunnaki, Christopher. Um, I'm really bad with names. The Shaman, what?
Like Shaman Perry,
Yeah,
Not
Shaman Perry.
like Perry.
So without each one of everybody here to contribute to this, this wouldn't be happening. I feel very blessed every time I'm in the chat room and we're having intellectual conversations because I always learn something. You know, always a learner. And if you're interested in these kinds of topics, go out there and search because I laugh because to me it's a contradiction. I always think you search within to find your answers, but in order to start the path, you got to find folks like Anunnaki, Willow, Christopher, Shaman Perry, who have been on the
And
path,
stickers.
and me.
And
Occasionally, I'm still a newbie, still learning. Look to your elders. Look to people who have been on the path for a while. And they can help you. But yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for checking this out. It was awesome. Always have a blast on this. We look forward to the next one.
where can they find you at, Rich?
They can find me on my struggling to start a YouTube channel called The Veil Explorer, The Hidden Path, or my old handles at Heaven Bliss on Instagram, Facebook, Richard M. Strickards. I might post it on X. I don't really use X that much. But yeah, and the chat rooms on Facebook. If you do find me, shoot me a message. I'm always willing to talk with you. If you got some issues, you got some problems. Um, a lot of us that are on this path have been through a lot of different things, some good, some bad, and we just want you to know that we love you guys, and we're here. We're here to help. We'll try to give advice if you want it. Or the best thing that I like to do is this: I give you an ear and a virtual shoulder, so you can let it out, so you feel like you don't have to keep it in. That's our goal. If we reach one person out there with what we're talking about here, that's it. That's all that matters. You know, we're here for you, not the other way around.
Let me just take a little time just to tell you all on each of that how I'm so appreciative to y'all. Each and every one of you guys is sitting up here from Willow to Christopher. And I want to just say a special thanks to you, Richard. I've been going through some things here the last few days, and you gave me some advice. And like I said, my head wasn't on right. And you took time, even though you separated, but you still stayed right there as a friend on my Facebook, and we communicated. And you showed me that, look, you have your belief system, and what you stand for is so important. And me, I'm everywhere. I'm doing this, that, learning that, doing this, learning that, and everything else, to where I don't never really, and I've had a client that's been kind of jumbled me. And like I said, I wanted to wait here to apologize to you personally, brother, because I love you and I love your energy and I love what you bring to it. Like you said, we can learn a lot from everything, and it takes real friends like I got right here that
Mm-hmm.
help me on a
Not just
daily
cumbersome
basis.
hypocrites. Yeah.
Because I've got issues inside of myself that I'm dealing with, and health issues and all this other things. And sometimes my mind's not always there, but like I was telling Willow, y'all, you guys know I love you all, and I'm not going. I'm one of those that, hey, when they mess with the family, hey, that's what I've been doing, and I'm trying to get to that shaman with just peace, and it's hard at times. It's the chaotic world that we live in. And now that's what's so important about us showing people about these chakras and frequencies and the different videos that you guys showed me, and the silver cord and all of this stuff that can give you that peace. There's a lady at the hospital today. She's like, what I learned, because she's 67 years old and she looked like she was younger than me. She said, I learned to get peace. And I was like, wow, that is so freaking what you was talking about earlier, Rich. It was like, you got to have that peace of mind, man, instead of letting everything affect you so much. And y'all know me, I'm a hothead, but, I just wanted to say that personally. And with you guys all out there, I love these guys. We love you guys out there in the comments. Everybody comes from the Sherry team over there all the way down to all the other people that are watching us. Peace and love from Untwisting Time. And we're going to have a part 2 to this, because this one got
Mm-hmm.
good. So we love you guys out there. Everybody want to say bye and peace, or however you do it. Hey, we're coming back at
Bye
you.
bye
If we
from
can,
us.
huh?
I said
What'd
bye
you say?
bye from us. Primrose is not that far from me. She keeps waving at you.
Hey, that's my baby. Hey, Primrose. I know she's probably somewhere floating around. We
Yeah,
have
she
to
keeps
bring her back
flying and
up
going near
again.
my shoulder and waving and then going back. She's like, what are you doing?
That's
Stop.
funny.
I'm not
You're
sick as your
interfering
head.
with the internet. That's why the internet keeps glitching, because she keeps going near it. It's just like, no.
We love you guys out there. Peace and love coming from Explore New Phenomena. And Chris, you might want to hang on, because the outro is you here. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see you guys next Sunday night. We might get another night throughout the week. Look for Sherry's show tomorrow. That most of us, it's got an invitation. It's always a party in there with Willow's Witchy Den. Also, thank you to Within the Cauldron. Bradley Powers is part of our group. Mark Brown, Tiffany Reynolds, the whole crew out there. We love you guys, and that's what we do it for. We're not just giving you knowledge, but making you understand knowledge. Peace and love.
Christopher, you're welcome to come as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did the outro play? Probably won't for me. Nothing ever works right for me. See, Chris, get your outro.
Welcome to Untwisting Time, your one-stop shop for the confusing, the strange, and the new, on Sundays at 9 or 10 p.m., depending upon when it starts, on the Benny Trent YouTube channel and in his Facebook groups, where anything from frequencies to how we know what is real to experiences in the magical and the mundane are explored. And you can find us on YouTube at the Benny Trent channel and in the Facebook groups, Sundays at 9 or 10 p.m. with me, Christopher Eagles, and Benny Trent, and Richard M. Strickerts. Come one, come all, and may the spirituality become actuality.